September 12th at 11:30. May I have a roll call?
Clifton, Fitch.
Here.
It's the-
That's you, Dave.
Clifton, Fitch,
Here.
Stancil.
Here. All righty, so I have a motion to approve the agenda, please. So moved. I will second that. All in favor? Aye. All right, let's take it away. Oh, Mitch, do you want to go first?
Sure.
Yeah, the window punch list was done last week and we finished it up today. The handrails we're up on the west side. The southeast corner of the ramp is done now. They're working on the southwest ramp. They're gonna be pretty close by the end of this week, maybe a little bit of next week, they'll have all the handrails up. The pavers, they're pretty close to halfway through the pavers on the south side. Landscaping, we have side on the north and west side. We got rain, so they pulled off. But they're supposed to be back this afternoon, I believe, start doing some more backfill and getting ready for sod. Backflow preventer, waiting on cans going in the end of the week.
Supposed to get it the end of the week.
Okay.
Right, first of next week.
It's going in the first of next week, is that what you said?
Yep.
Okay.
The electrician will be in on Friday to put the outlets on the south portico. We are gonna lay out today and probably do the perk test for the trees tomorrow. And tomorrow the Marvin guy is supposed to be here to install the 4 sashes that we had ordered, so.
For the outlets, you said they're going in, I didn't catch it, is it this week or next week?
This Friday.
This Friday?
He's supposed to be here this Friday.
And how are we putting them in, was that finalized?
Yeah.
Okay,
Is that Vapor Electric?
Yeah.
Keith, is that?
and they're going in by the,
Against the building and by the downspouts on each side.
okay.
Jeff, what railings are done for the stairs, are they all done?
The west stair, the south stair, and then the railing on the southeast ramp is done, and they're working on the southwest ramp.
Jeff,
as we speak.
So the east and the north are not done?
East and north are not done.
Okay, thank you.
did we ever figure out, and I can go up to ask Chip, on the west side, there was all that rust. Remember, there used to always be rust there. Why? Where is it coming from bronze?
The original rails that were on there, when they took the rails off, there must have been a nail busted or some inside of the concrete, but why they're oozing through there, I don't know. I cleaned that up yesterday and tried to silicone it and see if that stops it from rusting through. I don't know why it's coming through the coating.
Where is it?
It's on the west stair.
I think it was always rust there, if I remember. Do you remember on the west side of the railing that rust?
There's a screw or nail or something that's still embedded in the concrete. That's
So it must be from a long time ago. There's always been rust on the sidewalk. The railing comes down and on the steps, there's always rust there. And it was there now. And I thought it couldn't be from the bronze railings. And I couldn't find
Where it's
anything.
coming through the coating, there's gotta be a little nail or screw or something
Something's
underneath
down
the
in
coating
that
that's
cement.
keeping through.
How is it coming through the coating?
I don't know.
It does. And
Just
it
a
always
pinhole,
has.
it just worked its way through with a pinhole there, so.
What did you use to take it off? Because I'm gonna have to have a container of it, because it drives me nuts.
I just
That
use
cold.
water and brush.
Well, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't like it, I'll be washing it off. All right, thanks.
I do have a question on the railing, that little square thing at the base of the poles, it moves, is there a purpose for that?
Just covers the concrete so that you don't see the pouring that's been done in the concrete. It's
Okay,
just cosmetic.
okay, so
It'll be sealed down once it's,
it'll be sealed
yeah,
down?
once the electric's done and everything's done.
Okay,
Yeah.
because usually for poles like that, I usually see a more finished product at the base. Some kind of,
It just depends on the attachment. So what you're seeing is common for something that's poured into the concrete.
okay.
Okay. Submittals, one thing is the paper mock-up, which we already knew about. No RFIs. Change requests, I have just a few things that we had done a couple months ago. One was the Chico investigation, on the investigation of the stairways on the inside, plaster removal, and get to you. ASI 6, we're working through as well right now.
What's AIS 6? Remind
That's the
us.
south doors.
Oh, working on
Right.
it.
Right, so I'd like that on the agenda for next week, so we should have full information on that. I can give you a preliminary look at that now, but I don't have all the detail that I would like to offer you how we're gonna work through all this. But next week,
Do you
we
want
should.
to wait till you have it all?
Yeah, we can do that, that's fine. Next week, we'll talk through it, but I'd like to get it approved next week, just so we can get it ordered. There's a couple pieces of information that I'm still working with Mitch to capture on cost.
We know, I know we've had several conversations about timing, are we talking about the door mechanicals?
Yeah.
So, once we do approve the change for these more heavier duty mechanicals, just to confirm, it's gonna be 4 to 6 weeks for them to order them,
That's what I understand, yes.
and then a month for installation. Okay. So, my concern is, and this is a question for you, Diane, that puts us beyond the end of October, which is when you extended I don't know if it was the insurance or it was the grant or both. So can we get everything done except the doors and still be okay, or do we have to extend this out again?
That's a Brenda question.
Yeah, they won't extend it out again.
But it will be okay, because
But
it's
what I
just
would-
the door handles.
What I would suggest is that you remember everything with this exception for the benefit of the,
Oh, so approved, oh, okay, so
Yeah.
as far as the grant's concerned,
yes.
it's just, okay, so
Yes.
we're okay on that.
So there's no issue, it's just the doors being the last thing?
No,
Okay, okay. And
so
then there
just
was-
let it lie then, okay.
And what about the insurance thing? Wasn't there an insurance thing we had to extend to? Something
No,
we had-
we're good on the insurance.
We don't have.
We're good on the insurance? Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay. As far as new business, the only couple things I have is the backflow preventer, just timeline on that, and then, I got the concrete warranty wrapped up, so I'll send that today when I get back, so you can review that for the next meeting.
Are we gonna coat that, just that ramp that looks at the ramps?
Yeah, so our plan would be to coat that if you guys are, if that's still acceptable to you.
Yeah, because I went out, I don't like it either, so we'll coat the ramps and then, kind of be done with it.
Just the ramps or the stairs too?
I don't know that we'll get the stairs, what,
Because there's cracking on the stairs. I see pieces falling out along the stair steps by the, rails.
Okay, I'll have to take a look at it.
And then the warranty, when you have it, there'll be a bond attached to it, correct? And then,
Yeah, the final copy will, I just
Yeah.
wanna get.
and you guys
try
have
not to
agreed
remove.
to the 7 years from the day you leave. Because I notice, no matter how careful they are, you have all these beautiful new sidewalks, and there's just dirt junk all over them, but, so it's after the day you leave, right?
I
Or the
believe
day
as
we
it's
sign.
written right now, it's 7 years total from when it was poured.
It should be 7 years total when it's turned over to us.
That's not what was discussed earlier.
Yeah.
That's.
It was
that-
7 years total, considering that you had a 2-year warranty that starts the moment the work
Right.
is done.
Right. And then 5 years after that.
It was discussed from the date of the pour. You all can arrive at anything you want, but I just want to have you understand that's not what was discussed last time.
That has been what we've been
We
discussing.
discussed it
We made
from day
very
one.
clear.
We don't want it from date of pour, we want it from the date of,
Yeah.
when we were.
I'll go back and look at my notes, but
Oh.
that's, you all, again, you all can arrive at whatever you want to here that's in the warranty. I just don't think that's what was originally discussed.
Well, we can certainly look back at recordings and our notes and emails, but Diane and I have made that very clear that it starts
Yeah.
at terminal.
That always has been clear. Okay, let's move on here.
Okay. Did you have?
I think
That's
we're
all I had,
ready.
so.
Okay.
You're done. All right, so now on our agenda, Heather has lots of things.
Yeah, some of this, there was again, a miscommunication, but probably what we'll talk about first is, I provided, a member of the public gave me pictures and video of a drone footage that this person took outside of our courthouse of the windows and the dentals, as well as the roof line. And I provided, again, this is my cheap color printer, the resolution is much better in the email I sent you. And I saw lots of issues with that work. Not as much, there was a few for the windows, but there's far more issues that I found with the dentals. I found dented copper, I found dented roof line, I found mismatched corners that did not line up and they were bent to fit and caulked. I also found patching on our brand new copper dental areas. Some did not have the rivets, some did still have the rivets. I attempted to kind of highlight, these are not exhaustive, these are just some of the worst stuff that I found. The drone is a professional drone, it's not one you can just buy off the wall, off the shelf at Walmart. This is a professional drone operator licensed. And so I have deep concerns that I was told that this was punched and approved, and I'm looking at workmanship that is poor to unacceptable in my mind. So I wanted to give you guys that information. We briefly discussed it at our meeting this morning. I have deep concerns that we approve this work. And now it's too late to do anything about it unless we bring in a lift and start over, which of course I'm loath to do. So I don't know if you guys want to digest it before you comment on it, which of course that's fine by me. But based on what the information this member of the public gave me, I'm deeply disappointed that this work was accepted.
So what do you want? They can't bring the lift back because we don't want them. So what do you want them to do?
I
So
don't know,
what are they
Diane,
gonna
we paid
do?
$4.2
We're not gonna
million.
pay for it, so what are we gonna do?
We
So
paid-
let's come up with a solution to make you happy. What are we
Oh,
gonna
wait a second,
do?
wait a second, wait a second, this is not about me.
What are we going to
This is
do?
not about me.
I
this
don't
is
care
about
who it's
members of the
about. What
public
are
that
you
are
going
not-
to do?
I would like an answer from them. because they're the ones that signed off on it.
But what is
Diane.
ever going to resolve this, ever?
Well, well, first of all, we should have been able to go up in a lift, so I could see this before we punched it. But I was told that we can't go on the lift. You and Phil refused to do a drone earlier, you didn't wanna see it. Didn't
Yeah,
wanna
there-
see it.
Don't.
So,
it-
so a member of the public did it on their own in providing me this data. So now I provided the data to the parties in question, and I would like their feedback as to why this work was accepted.
I don't have any of this. I don't have any email or any information on this yet.
It's
All right.
right in front of you. You
Well,
can see it.
what, I am fine with you guys digesting this. I don't mean to put you on the spot here, but again, we can only
That's
do
fine.
this in a meeting.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll be glad to
So-
look at it. I'm,
If you could look at it and maybe next week come back with some thoughts on that, I'd appreciate it. I can't tell you how unhappy I am. This was accepted.
well. I'm
So
gonna look-
obviously, I understand you haven't seen it yet, and I don't wanna keep putting you on the spot, but I tried really hard to prevent this, and I was stonewalled each and every time. So I'm trying to withhold my anger because of the money we've spent on this project, and I've been nothing but trying to provide oversight to this project. So I'm gonna be fair to you guys, so you have time to digest it. We don't need to talk about it today, that's fine. But we will be talking about it next week,
It's fine.
okay? The other thing was, let me just pull up the agenda here. I think most of it, Diane, we talked about at our last meeting. I'm not sure if it's something that you necessarily need to ask them. Let me pull it up real quick. We talked about the warranty, talked about drum, yeah, so the other stuff was just housekeeping stuff on our side. So the only thing right now, we wanted to talk about, you said you had an RFI for the cheek wall, Mitch. Is that something that's pending?
No, it's something I needed to Rick. It's not a RFI, it's a change request back when we were trying to figure out what to do with the cheek walls. You guys told us to spend some time investigating.
Okay. Okay,
So Jeff did a bunch of probing and digging.
okay, okay. And then the stairways inside, you mentioned that you're,
Yeah, it's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
We did a little bit of demo of the plaster and then, I mean, it's a pretty minor thing.
and what are we doing with the jury room, the windows there? Are we finishing those, are we pulling them back? There was 2 locations where we talked about that. Has there been any movement on that yet?
I thought we checked in the jury room.
The corners where they weren't gonna finish the trim work, and we suggested that they pull some of that wall back so they can finish the trim work.
I thought we had
Yeah.
decided
Did we do
we were
that?
gonna finish
That's
that.
been done there.
Okay.
Yeah, we
Oh,
talked
did you
about
do
doing
it?
it, but, I mean, obviously, the removing of the paneling is an extra cost, so I need whatever that price is.
Well, then we'll have to put that on the agenda so we can decide if we're gonna pull that.
I thought we
It was already on.
we already discussed that.
Yeah, but
said
we
wanted
haven't
it
told
done.
them, did we?
That's what I thought. Do you remember,
We're
Chip?
probably waiting for a cost, which.
We were gonna get a cost.
We're gonna get a
We were
cost.
That's what
gonna
we're
get a
waiting
cost.
on, to see what it's, yeah.
Okay. So that was the jury room, and which other room was it? Was it the judges?
Jury room and the probation, it's the east window and the west window,
Okay,
and judge in the courtroom.
in the courtroom, okay. Yeah, if you can work on getting a price on that, now that we know that we have to get most of the stuff done except the door by the end of October.
I don't even think those windows would be, because that's something, we just want to complete them. This isn't gonna affect our grant, we'll just
Well, it's the
stop.
trim work around the windows that were.
I know,
It
but
won't?
don't bring, it's fine. The overall is, am I correct, Brenda?
I think as long as you sign off on the work with these exceptions,
Yes.
that they're
If
gonna
we
be
sign
fine.
off the work with these exceptions, we'll be okay?
Yes.
All right.
They're small.
because there are such little things, cosmetic things we want.
When are your shades supposed to be in?
I'll email her when we get back and find out what.
Because we want to plan this at the same time so we can put them 2 shades up before we close the walls back in.
Yeah, because it'll be hard with the shades up.
That way they'll be able to get them, we'll pull them down because they're still gonna see that insulation and rough wall on the inside, so.
Good thought.
You can pour, yeah, do it at the same time.
Thanks, Jeff. Rick, do you have anything?
Yep, several things. First, excuse me, I've been in contact with Livers Bronze and handrails. There's some question about why we have some silver in some of the brazed joints on that. What they're telling me is that is lead that's a part of the original base metal, and it's coming through into the weld or the brazed joint. They suggested letting that age maybe 4 weeks, and we can look at it again. They think it's gonna patina out. I don't know that I completely buy that, so
I
we'll
didn't
have
think
to,
lead patinaed.
we will have to, see what it looks like in 4 weeks. They are more than happy to come up though and repair it if it is not acceptable to you ultimately. So
Okay.
let's give it 4 weeks, and then we can, understand if there's something else there that we need to do with it. Chip, do you have any timing on the abatement for the sealant joints yet? Okay. And the last thing I have is, I'd like to know what your final decision will be on those inside corners for the ramp. I sent an email last week that talked about some of the things that SHPO was requiring, and that the reason we did some things that had a reveal between the building and the ramp. So the one on the west has been reworked. It's improved a little bit, but it still shows mortar signs where it was removed. So if you want it removed, you need to direct us to do that, or you can decide whether you're going to accept the conditions as they
I
are.
don't wanna remove it, it just scars up the,
What do you mean by remove it? You mean remove it and put it back the way it was?
Last week, there was discussion about removing the stone that is in the reveal,
it's that small.
the slivers that are there, and actually pulling them out to the face of the stone to match the face of the building. So that's what I responded to in an email last week.
Okay.
So,
Would it be easier just to put another layer on top?
I don't. I think
And
you
that
have
way
to
you
remove-
cover, you
Yeah,
rather
it's
than-
too thin.
It's too thin.
I would opt to leave it, don't dig on it anymore.
So you wanted to leave with that? with
I
that.
liked it the way it was, and then they had them change it, and then it went back, and
I don't really care either way in my mind where it is. I care about that ugly stain that.
and if they
leaves
dig
on
it
our
out, they're
stone.
gonna make even more
If they dig
stain.
it out, they'll put it back where the stain we currently see is.
Yeah, and you
Cover it
wouldn't
up.
see the stain.
Will it cover it if you put,
Yeah, it'll cover it. It's just not what the State Historic Preservation Officer wanted in the comments.
will it pass if you do it though?
They're not gonna come look at it.
Oh, all right, then I liked it the way the stonemason had it.
So you want to put back?
Yeah, I liked it better, and I think I've already said that.
If it wasn't stained, I'd be okay with it. Because it doesn't matter to me. 6-1/2 doesn't matter. The stain really bothers me. It looks bad. So, and you're saying you like it better the other way.
No, I liked it the way,
It was.
to bring it back, yeah, to the way it was.
So, why don't we go ahead, are you
So-
okay going ahead, putting it back to cover that?
So you're gonna have
Stain.
Brandon come and take it out again
Well,
and
it's-
put it flush?
That's probably gonna be at a cost, as we've had them move it, now moving it back to the original, so it's gonna.
Well, in the beginning, it called for it to be reset, is that correct, Rick?
Yes, it was
And
called for to
Brandon
be
put it
recessed.
flush, and I liked it flush, and then he was asked to put it recessed, and that stained the stone, and it doesn't look good.
So it's not our fault and it's not your fault because he didn't follow spec, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so it's his fault.
because he didn't follow spec, but it looked better, his not
Yeah.
following the spec, and then they made him make him follow spec, and now,
And then
put
now
him
it's
back to
staying.
not follow spec.
It was a question on how he read it. It says copy stone
Yes.
above and has hyphenated lines, so he went ahead and copied the stone and ran it across. It don't say anything about a 1-inch recess until it was sent out again, and it has 1-inch recess.
Okay.
It shows it, but there's a hyphenated line, and that's what he went by. That's how come it was done the way it was done.
Okay, so it was a
It
misunderstanding.
was a misunderstanding.
Okay.
But-
I understand those things happen, however, it looks bad. And again, it's not the flush thing, I don't care if it's recessed or flush, it's this, I don't like the stain on the brand new stone we laid.
Yeah.
Can you get the stain off, so he doesn't
We
have to?
tried. He took a stone to it and tried to get it off and clean some of it off, but he had said that when he recessed it, that there's gonna be, you don't get that mortar off, it gets into the pores of the stone, and it's about impossible to get it
How
off
long will
without
it take?
damaging the stone.
How long will it take, Rick, to just age so you don't notice it? I mean,
Oh, it's gonna be there a long time.
long time.
I mean, it's gonna be there a long time. You're not gonna see it age out. It's not gonna, in our lifetimes. It's unfortunate it was set to the face. Jeff, I don't know that I agree with the Mason's interpretation, but to your point, there was a second issue of that detail. I will go back and look at the first issue to see if I can understand how it was misinterpreted.
I've actually got it here if you wanna see it, but
But I looked at that last week, and I want to make sure I'm looking at the right version of the detail before we do that. So it's not something that's going to get better with time. It is in a location that probably nobody's ever going to look at, just because it's an inside corner and it's not sort of in a public way. But I appreciate your comments and wanting me to just tell us which way you want it.
Well, if we have to pay for it, is it?
I don't think we should pay for it.
Well,
I mean, again, I don't really care if it's flush or it's recessed, I care about the fact that the stone was damaged. So however they wanna fix that, whether move it back flush or figure out a way to remove it, but they try to remove it.
Let's do this. Let me go back and look at the email strings and where this started, and I will review it again
Okay.
to make sure that I'm looking at the correct detail. And if there's room for misinterpretation, I can understand that. If there's any question, though, the contractor is supposed to call us and give us an understanding, or pass on a question to Jeff so that they can call us. So I'll take one more look at it and then give you my interpretation.
so help me understand, right from the beginning, Brandon, who's a 30-year mason, made it flush,
Mhm.
correct? And then that wasn't acceptable, so you made him take it out and reset it, and that stained the stone.
yeah, it called for an epoxy and it didn't hold, so he tuck pointed it, and, so when it was asked to be recessed, when it's recessed, he knew the mortar wasn't gonna come off, and it won't, and he got it the best he could. Now it's recessed, and now we've poured the concrete into it on the top and everything, so I don't know what it's gonna take once he moves it out, if we're gonna have to do something different with that now, or what, because it's all finished in place now.
Is there any way to do like a faux something that's thinner? I know you said that the recess, how deep is the recess?
It's a 1-inch
It's a
recess.
1-inch recess, okay.
So we'll have Rick go check it, but
Yeah.
The only way you're gonna cover it up is to put it back the way it was. That's,
the way he had it, the mason missing
Right,
it.
you'll have to remove the stone, yes.
I wished,
Will that damage the building
sure you might.
how's it damage the building?
by pulling it off?
No,
No.
not the
Because
building.
that void was never filled completely behind it anyway, on the corner of the foundation of the building.
Okay. Okay.
I just.
All right, well, we'll let you guys figure it out, come back next meeting on that.
I don't have anything else on my agenda.
Okay, so
If
we'll
we're
meet.
gonna coat the ramps, it's gotta be ordered, I don't know how far out it is. Gary Scrivener called and wanted to know what our decision was on it, so we make a decision on how far out the coating will be, so how soon we'll be able to get that.
It's also temperature sensitive.
Couple of weeks.
And temperature sensitive too, yes, so.
Well, if we can agree, if it gets too cold, but we'll,
Hopefully we'll have an Indian summer.
yeah, I don't know. Could have a wicked winter too.
That's true.
Okay, so we're in agreement, we're gonna coat this, so we've already got that established. And the stairs, have we agreed upon that?
Well, Rick was gonna go look at the cracking and
Okay,
the stuff.
Mitch is looking at all that. I think Mitch needs to determine the extent that Bridles is gonna cover.
And I think,
Then how much is the coating warranty, the concrete?
Yeah, I mean, because to me, that would null some of the warranty items, because the warranty's mostly about appearance.
No, it's not necessarily, I mean, it's partially not appearance, but.
I mean, the structural items, the
Structural.
warranty would stay, but it's falling, nothing's gonna fall.
well, the warranty of the coating, I don't think, if they cover this, I don't think we should make them responsible for the warranty of the coating, because that's not on.
No,
But,
but the actual cement underneath it, yes.
yes, and so
So
the coating is.
the coating itself has its own warranty.
Right, and that's.
There would also be requirements in that warranty that they may have requirements for the actual cement covers. Like, they may give exceptions, like, this warranty does not apply if, X, Y, Z is the condition of the concrete underneath
Well,
it.
that's up to the scriveners, but, okay, so we'll get this resolved, right?
So, the other thing, south doors, do we have any answers on that? Apparently, the last time they ordered the wrong, what was the wrong?
Well, he just said it before this.
Also basement?
Not, I'm sorry, not the basement doors,
Oh.
sorry. Basement
Yeah,
doors.
Jeff took those off, so we're gonna send them back to Rivers Inc. in Des Moines to fix the doors.
Do we know what the turnaround on that is?
Said it'd only be a few days to get it repaired once they have them. They got
They haven't come and got them yet, we got them off.
So
They're
we'll
ready
be
to pick
without
up.
doors, Jim?
We put the old doors back on.
Oh, okay, so
Yeah.
just until they get them done,
Yeah.
okay. So you're working on that?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Then when they do come, I'm gonna send the frame with them, make sure they're all matched up before they come back. And when they do, I've already talked to Chip, we'll have to put a little temporary wall up there, take the doors off. It's gonna be a multi-day process of busting the concrete up, raising it an inch, and then setting the frame, cutting the frame down, setting the frame, putting the doors on, so we'll have a temporary wall built inside there for a few days, as long as it takes to get it done, and then we'll take it down.
Now, the bollards are removable, right, Chip?
Yeah.
They're already in the basement.
And we have to have those up for the court systems, but you can remove them.
Easily? Or does it take two guys?
There are two people that.
Okay. Okay.
Is there anything else? Can we take comments from the board?
No, we don't usually do that.
Hmm.
We don't usually do public comment.
So, I care, but do you care?
Hmm?
Do you care if you're going to speak?
Let me speak.
Jeff?
Jeff.
I don't
Oh.
care if you speak, Jeff.
I don't care.
Oh, I was just, like 3 weeks ago, in fact, Diane, I think you brought it up, and I never heard an answer from these guys. Was the lighting on the handrails or something, that there wasn't enough power because they were one voltage and then they sent us a different voltage, and I never
They've got
heard.
that, they've got that under control.
Oh, okay.
Correct?
Yeah, they sent.
I just never heard it talked about
Yeah,
again,
they
that's
sent the
all.
wrong driver and they've got that.
Oh, that's good.
I think
All
that's
right.
under. Yeah, well, we knew that, we've
See,
discussed
that's
that,
our
right?
last meeting, they were,
Yeah.
where they were gonna figure out what was wrong and
Yes,
get back to us.
and you've got that rectified, don't you?
They were supposed to be sending them.
Yes, yeah, the new driver.
So we don't
Yeah.
need any new,
No,
anything, great.
we've got that.
Beautiful, good, good.
Okay, is there anything else? I take a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
I will second that motion. We are adjourned at 12:05.
Minutes. The drone stuff, it was sent to me, it was like 78.
When was it provided to us?
This morning. Like, like 10 minutes.
It's nice to meet you.
Oh, you too.
My grandpa's from Sept very often. I can't.
You need to let her out a little.
I watch Channel 8 for all the other houses right now. This is almost kind of.
Oh, my word.
Oh, they'll be fine with that, yeah.
Yeah, for like years.
No, she was here earlier. She ran to go get us something to eat. So we go to the lunch.
Oh, yeah, and also,
So we have something to eat. You want something? I'll call her.
Oh, where are you going?
I think she's going to the little deli, the new market, old market. The new place on the square. Sandwiches.
You didn't?
Me too. Okay, and it's not in my business, but
Meat,
Indicating as below
I don't,
that.
they have.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But she was gonna get us sandwiches there. Anyway, whatever she decides, you want me to tell her to get you some?
Only if I'm gluten-free.
It's
No.
like bread.
Where's, like, Leslie?
I have no idea where she is.
I had my phone go boop, so yeah, it was right.
Just sign off.
After this meeting, so he
Exception.
And then we tried to describe the conditions as we have, so the other thing that doesn't help, I don't think, his argument is, we
And then I
have
send it out to
sale.
you in an email.
We would have expected a question on it, and we got nothing.
Okay.
So we could, we had
I'm
another
gonna
opportunity
double
to
check,
make sure
make
that
sure,
we're on the same
we're
page
coming
with
down
this.
home
And
stretch.
I just
I,
don't think we are.
not that I know of.
I'll look for it. Because I thought you said you got
Probably do something about it.
I just wanted to explain where, because they were in and I talked to them about it.
Make sure you like it.
Yeah.
You're gluten free or are you?
Yeah, yeah. Are you?
Resolution.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't know if I should speak worse.
I mean, there's just no doubt.
Yeah.
She ate one little piece of bread one
Oh,
time.
that'll be fun.
Now, she can
Okay.
eat flour, bread, Italy,
I know.
and Europe, but not here.
Going through their
Oh, just stay on that
and
minute anymore,
stuff,
so
you
that's
know,
good.
Until it goes
Roundup.
in class August.
They do not, they alcohol, all of them have
Had a long
alcohol.
time to not do that.
And up here,
Yeah.
they spray it, so it all dies at the same time, so they can harvest all at one time, and they don't have some.
Oh, yeah, you bet.
All kinds of doctors.
I think tomorrow will be
Yeah.
clear.
Gastrointestinal people
What?
that say.
Oh,
I think it'll be clear as mud.
The
Nobody's gonna know
insama,
what anybody's.
the essential enzymes
Yeah.
that help you break
Yeah,
that stuff.
yeah.
That's where it all
I have a
begins.
feeling, and you know what will probably happen, is they'll change it again down the line.
Oh, I think they'll change it, it's property tax, people are getting really sick and tired. Mine went $1,000.
I know, I have it. I don't know what it
Well, part of it's
And there's all
for
kinds of
building
things that help you. But,
ginormous.
you know, whatever works for you.
But
Thank you for letting me bring that up, because I never heard a resolution unless you talked
It
about it.
was never announced.
No,
at
it
the
wasn't a
meeting.
resolution, because we had said kind of behind the scenes, get it fixed, because they have the wrong.
Yeah, well, that's great, because you were talking like more power coming in, replacing
They have
boxes.
the
Do you know how much
wrong-
money that would have
No,
been?
we're not. They had wrong, ordered
I
the
was so
wrong.
relieved to hear that.
No
Yeah.
kidding.
Yeah.
So, no, thank
But don't
you.
Yeah.
renew 2,000, it hasn't gotten delivered yet.
Yeah.
If it gets delivered. Well, we're gonna get some deli food.